Alright, dickheads, welcome back to Challenge 52, practicing Challenge 52, athoro is my god, right? Yeah, Challenge 52, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, Jesus Christ, right? We're doing week 1, right? Who am I? I'm Viggy. I've been practicing for 3 years and 8 months, right? The fundamentals are 90% of my practice, and it's all based on form, line, and perspective. It's currently what the fuck else? What else do I say? This channel is a repository of my practice. Right? Gluck, athoro's dick. What else is there? Right? Get your pen. What the fuck? Get your pen. Get your paper. Sorry, I have a bit of a semen in my throat. But yeah, get your pen, get your paper, and draw along with me, right? And let's focus on the only thing we can control, which is the effort, right? So let's focus on our fundamentals and learn to enjoy them by, once again, focusing on the effort. Kind of just saying the same shit over and over, right? But this week 1 of Challenge 52, which I'll do 10 pages of, right? Because I'm going to do hardcore mode, it's 500 boxes. Let's say it's like 20 boxes per page, double-sided, that's 40 boxes, 10 pages, 400. Fuck, I should do 15 pages then. Yeah, I should do 15 pages, yeah. Okay, 15 pages of boxes. But how do we make just boxes difficult? By doing exactly what I'm doing right now, which is we immediately visualize the entire box seen through, right? We visualize it large and we visualize every single diagonal cross section, right? That we can, visible and invisible. And while we do that, while we're trying to apply that, visualize that, we immediately start drawing the line without looking at it. This is extremely difficult, right? But we immediately start drawing the line at a speed that is faster than which we are capable, right? Right now, like already, like I'm struggling to see through the box, I'm struggling to see through everything. And what this builds is automaticity, fucking automatic drawing. The automation, what the fuck, right? Of being able to visualize and see through and apply the perspective, because just boxes is easy for me right now, right? See, that was a fuck up too. That's converging way too fast. And that is something I messed up, right? Now I'm looking here, I'm looking at this line. So that's a mistake, right? That I'm making, but that is essentially what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to explain this probably, but it's so hard because I'm already thinking and I'm already in extreme amounts of discomfort. But what I'm trying to say is you make this more difficult by thinking more and applying faster while thinking more in an extremely basic explanation. But again, what am I thinking of? I'm thinking about the box and seeing through the box and trying to visualize the entire thing while applying the line while I'm not even looking at the line, right? Like, and that is extremely difficult. Like right now I cheated because I looked at the line. But you see, my line quality is suffering greatly. Like my line quality is suffering greatly because of that, and you can see where my lines naturally, quote unquote, and by naturally I mean naturally over hundreds of thousands of repetitions, are better, and others which struggle greatly, like anything that's this angle, pushing out this way, right? That I struggle with greatly. I also forgot that I'm supposed to be drawing the same box multiple times in perspective, right? So, but this is exactly what I'm trying to visualize, right? Which is this. This is what I'm trying to visualize, right? See, I kind of fucked it up a little bit, but this, trying to see through the box, trying to see the diagonal cross sections of every visible and invisible plane. And again, even now, like I'm not looking at this point. I'm literally through my peripheries I'm training the skill of being able to zoom out and still connect multiple points together via a line, right? Or in this case, 2 points together via a line. And this is extremely difficult, right? This is extremely difficult, and that's exactly how you make boxes harder for yourself. Is okay, so you can see the horizon line, you can see the vanishing points, and you can hold it all in your mind while you're visualizing the box. Good. Make the box larger, increase the scale, and visualize the ability to see through the box, and visualize the ability to see the diagonal cross sections, right, that connect to each center. Congratulations, you made it. And apply the apply the lines a little bit faster than you're used to. Congratulations. I don't know why I said you'd have made it. I was trying to say you just made it. Exponentially more difficult. Right? And that's what we're aiming for, is to make things much more difficult in the simplicity. I know one of my fans, I think is a fan, they pull up now and then to roast me and then leave. No, but Novice, Nohviss, probably gonna change their username after I've doxed them, but again, who really gives a fuck about a tiny channel like mine, right? But they were asking me, being like, you're really good at drawing boxes, or you seem to be very good at drawing boxes, why do you still need to Why do you still need to do this, right? Like, and this is exactly what I'm explaining. Like, this is why. Like, this is how I'm making it more difficult for myself, right? Like, this is literally how I'm making it more difficult for myself. So I'm gonna draw these boxes multiple times, right? in different perspectives. And this is good because it also teaches me proportions and in different perspectives and in different scales as well. Like already I am zooming out and trying to think and see these lines will suffer, right? But already I'm trying to zoom out and think about the overall perspective of the box. And my working memory is extremely taxed right now because I can barely zoom out, but I'm constantly forcing myself to see through the box, see this invisible plane, see this invisible plane right here, and see the diagonal cross sections. And this is why like this is such a good practice, because I'm actively forcing my brain to visualize and see like, there you go, I didn't connect it properly. Why? Because I couldn't see. I was zooming out, I wasn't looking at the line, therefore I couldn't connect it, right? And that's a good thing, right? That is a good thing, right? But I am actively taxing my working memory a lot right now because I am zooming out, I'm trying to connect it, and you see that didn't connect either, right? Another really big mistake. Also, I forgot I should be drawing the boxes and then doing the draw through. But like, what I struggled with there was zooming out, visualizing, seeing through the boxes, seeing every single diagonal cross section, and applying it at a speed while zooming out, right? So like, these are all extremely difficult skills, right? And it is all, and forever will be, skills. Like, if there's one thing I can get inside your head, is that it's all a skill issue. It's never not a skill issue. I know, good old double negatives. We all love double negatives, right? But it's genuinely never not a skill issue. And even now, like the skill of me zooming out while applying this line, while trying to think about every single diagonal cross section, I'm basically trying to, again, automate the math of the visible and invisible plane, right? And again, trying to zoom out, and every time I fuck up these lines, what do? I attach dopamine to the errors, right? I'm forcing myself to feel good from making all of these extremely obvious, glaring mistakes, which my working memory is taxed right now to try to not make these mistakes. But the mistakes will be made, right? And again, I'm just gonna rest my brain right now. And I obviously need to draw a couple larger as well, right? Because I want to, like, this is the range or the scale in which I want to draw them. Like, I don't want to draw any boxes smaller than this relative size, but I'm going to rest my brain. I encourage you to do the same, but let it be known, I'm constantly taxing my working memory because there's multiple things happening. The speed is taxing my working memory. It's the ability to hold the visualization while applying it at a speed which is faster than what I'm currently used to, which in turn is obviously causing my motor cortex to be requesting astrocytic glycogen, right, from my brain, right, which is my energy resource, in order to direct that energy towards focusing on parts of my motor cortex, which is the application as well as focus in my prefrontal cortex and parietal lobe, right? Visualizing it. And then on top of that, calculating the scene, the invisible diagonal cross section, and holding this visualization while I'm applying the line in and of itself, right? All of these things are extremely taxing, and it's a different type of taxing because I don't get the opportunity to actually take a step back like I do in my portrait series and like genuinely visualize for minutes at a time. No, it's like, nope, you just have to brute force. It is basically, this is my fast gear is the way I can explain it. Like, this is improving the skill of visualizing and making marks and calculating to the best of my ability at a faster speed. Like, that is the skill I'm trying to build, and that is what is causing that cognitive discomfort and working memory taxation, right? Which is what draftsmanship is. It's cognitive endurance, right? So anyways, please rest your brain. I'm gonna do the sound. And also, I just want to, again, like, point out and be clear in the fact that, like, all these wobbly lines and thick lines and everything, these are all mistakes. Like, this not connecting, it's all mistakes. And that mistake is a reflection of my current inability to stay the course and lack of confidence in committing to the line, right? Like, it's all just a reflection of my lack of confidence in committing to the line, which is appropriate due to the other myriad of items that are being utilized and kept in my working memory, such as the visualization, the spatial reasoning, the speed of the visualization and spatial reasoning, as well as the application. Those are constantly oscillating my mind as something to keep in mind, right, while I try to hold the visualization and then apply while zooming out because I'm not looking at the line, right? So it's appropriate that my line quality takes a hit even though I'm actively focusing on improving it, right? That's how it works. If you don't feel like a fucking dumbass when you're practicing, you have the liberty to practice, quote unquote, practice harder, think harder, right? Because you should genuinely feel like a fucking idiot. And also stay hydrated. Okay. Anyways, let's keep going. And I can tell like my proportions have already gotten a little bit better, right? This is obviously a bit wider, so this box was a bit too thin, right? But we'll make another large one. I'm just trying to think of a perspective right now. I'm just trying to think of like a perspective because sometimes it can be difficult to think about a perspective. But let's do something like this. And again, like I'm looking here, but I'm trying to zoom out and see this entire thing. Like I'm already visualizing, and it's so fucking difficult. I just made a mistake. See, like I zoomed in on that line, but it's so difficult to zoom out and see through the box and to see the diagonal cross sections. But that's exactly what I'm trying to do right now. It's like I'm trying to actively zoom out and see the diagonal cross sections. And it's very difficult because you can see I am applying relatively fast, right? But it is something I'm actively working on in being like seeing this invisible plane, seeing this invisible plane, this, and the diagonal cross sections that are associated with them. That one was okay. That one wasn't too bad, right? But this is how you can make boxes harder. Like and I think this is the extent of which one would really need to make boxes difficult, right? Obviously, I'll be back in like a year or two. I'll be like, actually, now it's time to visualize the fucking 3 center planes intersecting on these boxes, which honestly is a very viable way to make boxes harder. Like, I don't think that is inappropriate or not opportune or whatever at all, right? Like, I genuinely think that is actually a pretty great way to make the box harder, right? But anyways, let's try to think about another perspective, right? Let's try to make it a little bit more of a, there you go. And I'm zooming out. I'm like literally looking at this general region while I make this mark, right? So and this, I'm purposefully going to start this mark here purely so I can continue to zoom out, visualize, and you can see see there, look at that. This is a huge mistake. Look at that, huge fucking mistake, right? And that is exactly what I need. And again, while I'm doing this, I'm really struggling to see through the form, and that is also what I'm trying to do, right? But now this also pulls into question like my ability to zoom out and not to look at the line, but still connect the line, right? And again, like trying to zoom out, think about the diagonal cross section here, right? This invisible plane, see through the form, all that shit. But do you see how? And again, that line was also a beautiful mistake because when I'm not looking at the line, it takes cognitive energy to, when you're not looking at the line, to still stay the course and to ensure your pen pressure, your pen pressure sensitivity is consistent. Like, and again, like my finger just lifted off the page, right? Like it takes cognitive energy. Like it's all cognitive energy, right? Emphasis on the cop. Such a funny joke. Anyways, yeah, it takes cognitive energy to zoom out and that's exactly what I'm doing right now too. To zoom out and to still think about the pen pressure connection and the sensitivity. And also, right, and while you're doing that, don't forget about looking through the form. And don't forget about this diagonal cross section, this diagonal cross section. Lots of cognitive effort, right? And let's see. That wasn't that bad, right? That wasn't that bad. But you see, like, that is a huge discrepancy. Of course, if I was looking at this line and I was looking here and I was actually focusing, I would have easily been able to do it. But the point is, we don't want it to be easy, right? Which is why we force ourselves to feel good when we do things that are very difficult and it's very hard. Like the desirable state of difficulty is something in learning. Just search it up. Desirable state of difficulty. It's when things aren't so above your fucking means of accomplishment that like you literally are stuck and you feel just immense discomfort to the point of essentially being crippled, right? Like you are stationary in terms of your practice. But this is a desired state of difficulty because I tried really hard to connect to this point right here, but I didn't, right? I was slightly off. Like, and me zooming out and trying to do this is a desired state of difficulty. Like, again, didn't connect it properly, right? And that's exactly what I want at the very least. And I encourage everybody to be in that state of difficulty, right? Because that is where growth occurs. And I'm trying not to do this as well. I'm trying not to ghost, actually. It's very specifically trying not to ghost at all because I want to just do it as per one attempt, right? Like, because again, we want to improve our ability to see, like, I have a habit of ghosting, and ghosting is a good habit. I want to be very clear, but for this particular practice, ghosting is not the habit that I want, right? And again, like, technically this is off because it should be here, right? So that is, again, like, desired state of difficulty, right? And again, I'm going to see, completely off. I fucking pointed there, right? And same thing here. Just need to visualize it and then make the mark. Okay, that one's not that bad, right? But I fucked that up. I fucked that up horribly. And now we try the same thing again. Again, every time I look at every single one of these boxes, I force myself to zoom out. Like, I'm forcing myself to zoom out to the best of my ability when and that line was actually completely off. I don't know why I curved it. It should have been a lot straighter, right? But I forced myself to zoom out and to see every single diagonal cross section to the best of my ability. Can I actually do that? Not well, and not really. But the point is, I try consistently, right? I try consistently. I don't know why. What fucking voice is that? Cleveland? Is that Cleveland's voice? Right? What the fuck, Peter? Right? Yeah. I never really watched Family Guy, so I don't really have much say in any references for that matter. But see, like, I thought I would make a mistake there, but I didn't, right? I got to those 2 points even though I wasn't looking there explicitly. So it's when the scale is smaller, obviously the skill is, and again, I just ghosted there, so that was a mistake. Because see, there you go, right there. You see how off that is by like that little bit. And that's the thing, you want to be very specific as well. It's like, you have to be like, okay, if I'm off by a millimeter, I'm off, right? There's no like, oh, I was only off by millimeters. Like, nope, I was off, right? Because the more strict you are with your ability to do, the more you can focus on trying to hit that, to adhere to that level of strictness, and that's only going to be a benefit. And that guy, I just tried ghosting there, and yeah, my lines, like, you can see the fucking random curve, right? But the more you can adhere to that level of strictness that you give yourself, the higher standards you have, the higher you will aim to achieve those standards, right? And that's just a matter of fact. Like, that's just a matter of fact. I think that goes with anything, right? If you have high standards, you will try to meet high standards. What a fucking controversial statement, right? But it's okay. See, like, this is off because I should have stopped it here, and this is also off because it should have been roughly around there, right? Why is that? Because this, otherwise, if this went that way, right, this back line went that way, that's not parallel with where it's converging, right? These two are basically parallel to each other. That should also be following that, right? This was inaccurate, and that, again, forced myself to feel good, is a beautiful mistake, right? But yeah, oh, see, again, I just ghosted again, but I'm trying to zoom out. I'm constantly practicing zooming out. Like, I'm constantly practicing zooming out because this is where the skill where I can do my best to try and zoom out. Like, this is what I'm doing with these quote unquote fast gear days, right? The fast schema days, whatever you want to call it, the hands, the figure, and the challenge 52 is just to try to constantly think and focus and consolidate the basic math, the basic geometric math. And this is basic geometric math for me now, right? Like, this is my basic geometric math. This may not be your basic geometric math. Your basic geometric math might be something more advanced, or it might be something simpler, right? But the point is, we always try to consolidate it into a schema, which is just, see, it's off by this much. And a schema is a mental model. It's a mental representation which our brains create through learning, also off, right? And right now, my schema for just calculation while zooming out is being built through, and how are these schemas built? Through constant effort and errors, right? So, like, my schema for essentially hitting 2 points, zooming out, and also trying to see the box, right? There you go, that was correct, so that's good, right? My schema is being built and rewired consistently through effort and dopamine, i.e., so essentially, let me try to explain that better, right? Anything you're doing, any skill you're learning, discomfort is a given. It is a non-negotiable part of learning, right? Therefore, how do we tolerate, or better yet, right, the more appropriate terminology is, how do we embrace discomfort? And that is through purely understanding that this discomfort is just a fuck ton of chemicals in your brain, right? Take the feelings out of it. Your feelings, gone, trash, they don't matter, all right? The reality is, it's purely just chemicals. They're neurochemicals, brain chemicals, whatever the fuck you want to call them. They're chemicals. What chemicals are they? Acetylcholine, norepinephrine, right? Focus and attention, I believe. acetylcholine focus. Wait, no, norepinephrine is attention. Yeah, norepinephrine's attention, acetylcholine's focus. Well, they're fucking either that or the other. But the point is, like, they're one or the other. But the point is that when acetylcholine and norepinephrine are released, it is signaling to your brain that stressors are occurring because mistakes are being made and it's doing something that's difficult. And it is during this moment when you notice what is occurring, right? That when errors are being made and you notice those errors, you attach dopamine. How do you do that? It is as simple, literally as simple as simply forcing yourself to feel good. Does that mean I gaslight myself to feel good? Yes, that's literally how learning works. You just gaslight yourself to attach dopamine to errors, because there's two things that happen. If you attach fucking, why don't you say if you attach one more time, Viggy? Anyways, if you attach, there you go, that was completely off. Let me say if you attach one more time. If you fucking, Jesus Christ, I'm trying to focus too. Okay, now that I'm done all this, if you attach frustration, i.e. cortisol, to your mistakes, you are signaling, right? The spotlight is trying to, like, the acetylcholine, norepinephrine, they're trying to spotlight what's wrong. But when it's being spotlighted, like, well, hey, this is an error, and you attach negative feelings such as stress, anxiety, right, cortisol, basically, to that spotlight, what you are telling your brain, right, you're telling these chemicals that this should not be paid attention to, as it is a negative attribute. Like, this should not be learned, like this was causing stress. Versus when you attach dopamine, when you feel good about your mistakes, you're signaling to your brain that this is an error that needs to be paid attention to, and we must problem solve this in the back of our minds. And that happens through the gap effect, which we're about to do right now, as well as, right, sleeping, spacing effect, all that shit, like getting your rest. But that's literally how you build your schemas, right? But yeah, like, this is how you learn. And I talk about this all the time, and I'll keep talking about it until I just need one fucking person to understand that learning is not a subjective experience. It is an objective reality, which you attach a subjective feeling to your benefit. Right? Maybe that sounds like the same thing. What I'm trying to say is learning isn't, I feel like learning and I don't feel like learning and I feel so bad, I'm just gonna jerk myself off because I'm a fucking pussy and I don't like learning. Learning isn't that. Learning is my brain releases chemicals, I have the opportunity to attach certain feelings, i.e. just feeling good to those chemicals to expedite my learning. I then employ the micro gap effect, as in resting during the session multiple times, and then what's it called? The fucking other, like, gap effect, the spacing effect of, like, resting after the session, and then obviously, like, interleaving, where I practice this the topic, like, every couple days, and, like, I interleave other topics, right, that follow the same foundations. For me personally, being spatial reasoning, right? But, like, that's, if I can just convince one person that they're capable of literally improving themselves in terms of how they learn and, like, greatly expediting their learning experience, and the mindset that's associated with learning is that it's just purely effort. Like, it's just effort. The effort you put in is all that matters, and where you put that effort in, of course, is actually, like, equally as crucial, right? If you're putting an effort towards just fucking holding your pen and you're jerking off in your mind being like, I'm such a great artist, I'm sorry to tell you, you're fucking shit. You can get the fuck out of here. But, like, that's, if I can just convince one person that it's literally neuroscience, right? And I feel as if none of this will matter until, of course, 5-10 years from now when I'm a fucking goat and I'll be like, oh, he was onto something. But I try to say it now, as in, you know, like, better now than fucking later. I know better late than ever on all that shit, but, like, please, like, fucking, you don't, like, if this level of skill, even, like, this level of believability, I can't fucking speak right now, believability, that's all, folks. But if this level of believability and drawing spatial reasoning, three-dimensionality, not the drawing itself, but the level of skill that you see, at least a little bit makes you go like, I would like to have a little bit of this, then fucking please take my words for some level of seriousness, right? All I'm trying to say is you're capable, and I just want to let you know how capable you are. Anyways, fucking rest your brain, Jesus Christ. Let's get back to drawing boxes after we rest. Oh man, I love art. I genuinely love drawing. Like, it's just too good. It's just too fucking good. I mean, like, we should all be grateful. Genuinely, you should be fucking slurping the ground that you walk on for the fact that you have the capability to learn, right? But anyways, I'm thinking of a chunky box this time around. and I want to make it a bit more of an obtuse. See, like, again, that was a beautiful mistake. Like, that line was a mistake, but I want to make it more of an like a chunky box, right? So something like, and again, like while I'm doing this, I'm drastically trying to zoom out and visualize and see through the form and all that stuff. Am I capable of doing that right now? No, I'm not capable of doing that right now, but that's why I am trying to, right? And I'm just constantly attaching dopamine to my mistakes because I'm making so many mistakes with my line quality that perhaps you can see, perhaps you can't see, but it is happening. There are a lot of mistakes happening, right? And I'm constantly trying to like see through the form and see the diagonal cross section, diagonal, right? Constantly trying to see it. Calls it. But anyways, and this is a very difficult box to rotate because obviously there are two planes that look similar and then one plane that is a bit different. So let's try that again, and we'll do something like, and I literally am trying to rotate this box in my mind, let it be known, right? And this one's a little bit of a larger variation. And while I'm doing this, I am really trying to think about the overall diagonal cross section and seeing through the form. And I'm zooming out, right? I am actively zooming out as well, and that's extremely difficult. And you can see this box is incorrect compared to, and the speed I'm doing it at is also very difficult. I'm gonna be very clear, right? But this box was incorrect. It's too thick. It's too thick. I should have made it thinner, right? But that's okay. That's how we learn, right? And again, try again here, right? And I'll make this even larger than it was before because obviously I want to see, and I'm zoomed out, like I'm not even looking at the lines that I'm drawing right now, apart from right now. But I am constantly trying to see the box, and I'm really trying to zoom out and see the diagonal cross sections to the best of my abilities, right? And that line was a mistake. And again, force myself to feel good. And there's a lot of cognitive stress occurring right now. Cognitive discomfort, norepinephrine, acetylcholine is basically fucking coming all over my brain, being like, where do we focus? And I'm like, here, look, I'm telling you, oh, I feel so good, right? And this is a mistake that you can, oh, see, it's not actually that bad, but that was basically a mistake. And again, I'm constantly like reaffirming to myself, like, hey, don't forget to see through the box. Don't forget to think about the diagonal cross sections, which is very difficult to do when you're applying the line, right? It's very difficult to do when you're applying the line, zooming out, trying to think about the line in and of itself. I'm pretty sure that line is incorrect because it was diverging, right? That line. And this line was horrendous because it was so thick, right? But this is way more accurate in terms of proportion than that one, right? So again, like the speed at which I'm doing this, it's forcing me to constantly remind myself, recall, remind that see through the box, right? Like it is a constant game in my head, right? Of just effort. And that's what I'm always, and this is gonna be a huge mistake, but that's what I'm always trying to tell every single one of you. And right now, like even now, I am actively trying to zoom out, right? And see this entire box in my mind. And again, like this is all mistakes. This is all lack of confidence. You see, I'm going over the lines multiple times. Like that's all due to a lack of confidence. And I am zooming out, trying to see the diagonal cross section here, and through the box as well. But my brain is like in extreme discomfort mode right now, right? And that is exactly where I attach dopamine to errors. And again, these lines are all mistakes. Like I'm not looking at the line. It's taking a lot of energy just to not look at the line and to still zoom out and to see all the diagonal cross sections, right? And see, that line was a mistake. I'm trying to make it thinner, and I fucked it up. So I have to like make that a little bit bigger, right? So that one, the convergence is just wrong because this is going like it's gonna meet here, but those are just, this line and that line are basically parallel, right? But again, I'm trying to see through the box, trying to see the diagonal cross sections, and we're then going to make it meet right there, right? Still, this is more accurate. These three are more accurate, but this is how you learn, right? Just constantly try to keep things in your mind. Like it's genuinely that, and it's not just that. See, I'm gonna try to stop saying the word just. Like I always put just in quotes because I know it's extremely difficult because obviously I'm fucking experiencing it, right? So I know the level of difficulty that I'm experiencing, right? But right? But it is still let's see, I'm just trying to think about more difficult angles that I can rotate this in, right? Oh god, I gotta burp. But I'm just trying to think, like, because the bigger the box, the harder it is, right? The bigger the scale. So obviously, I want to make sure I am pushing my abilities to, and again, I'm just visualizing a box right now, right? And I'm already like, this is so difficult because I'm applying fast. Let's not forget, I'm applying fast while trying to see through the box, and I can barely do that right now. And not only just trying to see through the box, but while, and I'm zoomed out, I'm not even looking at the lines that I'm making, but while trying to see through the box, see, that was a complete mistake, right? While trying to see through the box and apply diagonal cross sections, and obviously I'm making up for this extreme convergence that I did here, right? But while trying to see through the box and apply the diagonal cross sections, which I can't even see, right? And yeah, there you go. That line was also a mistake. But yeah, that was just completely off. Like, so much intense convergence. I mean, this technically could be this box, larger and very foreshortened, but most probably not. But that was very difficult, which means that was very good. That was incredible, actually. But so I'm gonna rest my brain, and I hope you can see, like, when you focus on multiple things at the same time, right? Like, when you focus on multiple things at the same time, output regression occurs. Like, this is output regression, where I'm thinking really hard, thinking about a lot of things, yet you see the results are very sloppy, right? Like, you might be, it's like, it would be surprising if you looked at this person's line work and then you saw this line work and you're like, oh, well, like, this is a lot cleaner. This still has a lot of issues. Tangents. Antonio actually gave me feedback on their, ArtWatt feedback tool, which is fucking incredible. But Antonio gave me feedback because they're doing something called like a boost me thing for like a month or something, where Antonio would give you feedback on your piece. I did the one that I streamed where, like, with the airplane and the mech and shit, and he basically told me my line quality, like, the biggest thing holding me back is my line quality and like the way I overlap lines and make them thicker or thinner. So this piece, next stream, I'm just gonna focus on like cleaning up the line quality, and we'll see what I learned, which I'm excited about. But yeah, like, complete tangent aside, you can see my lines are fucking ass, right? But that's the thing, like, the goal right now is to have clean lines without even looking at the line. It's one of the main goals with my motor skills, right? Apart from obviously visualizing and holding the lines and having them connect properly. But yeah, either way, great, this is fucking amazing, right? Like, it doesn't look like much, but that's the thing. That's why I'm explicitly telling you what I'm thinking about and all the things going on, and what my working memory is taxed with, and the multiple items I'm holding in my mind while doing just the application of line, right? Just the application of line, quote unquote, right? So you're very well aware that, oh, like, there's always thinking going on. And the answer is yes, drawing is thinking, right? Drawing is very, very, very difficult thinking. It's all problem solving, spatial problem solving, visual problem solving, right? Line problem solving, composition problem solving, design problem solving, fucking everything problem solving, right? Value problem solving, like, proportion problem solving, a million things to be problem solved, which is beautiful because that makes us what? More cognitively adept, right? I want to avoid using words like talent, intellect, right? Smart, intelligence, like all those things, because really, what is it? Cognitive effort, endurance, and consistency, right? That's what builds the brain that can create something like this, and then 5 years from now, the brain, I'll be like, oh, that can create something like this, and it's 10 times better, right? Like, it's really all it is. But anyways, as always, I think you're capable of that. But let's rest our brains. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. I was gonna drink some water. Please do so as well. Ah, Jesus. Okay. All right. No other words there. Just okay, all right, and right. But anyways, another like difficult thing, like, while I draw this, I force myself to constantly visualize. And again, I'm trying to do it at a faster speed, as you can tell. I'm like forcing myself to constantly visualize the seen through box to the best of my ability, and the diagonal cross sections, because again, like, that is the main thing that I'm constantly trying to visualize, right? And look, I got that wrong. Like, I put it here when it's supposed to be down there. Like, that makes a huge difference with the center line, right? Like, look at the huge difference that makes, especially when these boxes are smaller, right? But either way, right, constantly trying to like not look at the box in of itself. Obviously, I made a mistake there because I ghosted even that little thing. That little, see that right there? Like it is a habit, and it's not a bad habit. I want to be very clear. Like ghosting is a good habit, but for the purpose of what I'm trying to, and again, that line was wobbly as fuck. Holy shit! But for the purpose of what I'm trying to do right now, which is just commit to the mark while zooming out, and those of you who are beginners will understand, because you are already struggling. If you're a beginner, you're probably already struggling from doing this, right? Where you see two lines and you're like, ooh, and connect. Like, I don't think about that anymore, but I spent dozens, if not hundreds of hours thinking about that, So like, I get it, okay? And I have video proof. I have sheer evidence to prove that I get it, right? Not because it's like, oh, look at him, he fucking struggled so much, but it's more personally for me, it's look at the fact that I understand. Like I want you to know that I'm relatable, man. Like that's why you can give me money in the future when I pull out a course, right? But genuinely, it's so that you understand that I understand, right? And to show you that, hey, if he went through it and he did this, then I can do this 10 times over because this guy's fucking pathetic. He can do nothing. He is garbage shit tier, right? Like fucking mid as can be, And whether that narrative is true or not, the fact of the matter is I have worked my ass off to be mediocre, right? To still be even mediocre right now. Like I've worked my ass off to still be mediocre, right? So you can also work your ass off and be mediocre and then great over decades, right? It's within all of us, but it just comes down to continuing to continue. And see, both those points were off, damn. But yeah, I mean, like that. Well, what I was trying to say is like I get it, like like if you're a beginner, you're just thinking about trying to connect two fucking lines together. But that's why, for the purpose of this exercise, for me right now, it's not about connecting two lines together. It's about literally just seeing everything and then visualizing and applying immediately, right? Like we're trying to automate the basic math. And again, I just ghosted there again, but we're trying to automate the basic math that I have spent hundreds of hours practicing, right? And that comes down to just committing and whether I am correct or not, because if I'm wrong, I attach dopamine. If I'm correct, I still feel good. Dopamine's attached. So either way, it's a win-win, right? So that's why it's just about like, this is basically for me proving myself that I understand perspective, right? I understand, and this is off by like a couple of millimeters, as you can see, or if you can't see, there you go. I just pointed it out with that little this is, I guess, like a little ruler mark, you could call it, right? Like, see, that's beautiful, incredibly off, right? Incredibly off. There you go. That's also off because I fucking started the line wrong. But yeah, just constantly thinking, right? That's definitely off, right? That's definitely off. But and then that's off too because I fucking started at the wrong point. So you can see, like, and you see how I'm laughing at my mistakes? Like, that's what we want to do. We want to laugh and feel good about our mistakes, because the fact of the matter is, if we're making mistakes, that means we can learn from them. If we're not making mistakes, that means we don't even know what to learn from, right? Like, that is, let's see, I knew that would be off, right? Because I'm still trying to keep the line straight. I'm not trying to fraud and make the lines wobbly and like go in one direction or another, right? But it's that is the case, if you can laugh at your mistakes, right? And if you can make mistakes, that means you are simply on a path where you could understand and recognize your mistakes. See, I ghosted there again. See, that was a mistake. I'm not gonna give myself shit for that though, obviously. Like, that's still a good habit to have, right? But it's okay, that's like slightly off by a millimeter. That one's pretty good. Right, obviously I struggle more. I ghosted there again. I struggle more with any length that is clearly longer. And again, I'm doing this without looking. I'm starting here, but I'm not looking at the end point. I look at it initially, and then I don't look at it when I actually make the mark, right? Because I'm constantly trying to zoom out and think about all the diagonal cross sections at the same time, and that is obviously very difficult to do. Like, that is also off, right? And that isn't off. Wonderful. And this is off by a millimeter. And this is off by many, many, many millimeters. Goddamn. That was fucking beautifully shit, right? But yeah, I'm constantly thinking about the diagonal cross sections to the best of my ability, right? This is how we make boxes not boring and last 40 minutes of video time, right? Is just consistent visualization, just consistent fucking visualization, right? And this is why, like, it's extremely difficult because I'm not just visualizing the box. I'm visualizing the box, seeing through with every single diagonal cross section, and then trying to apply it as fast as I can, seeing through with every single diagonal cross section, right? Like that is off, right? That is beautifully off. And here I'm gonna try again. Let's see how that goes. Okay, that was pretty good, but it's still off, as you can see. Or maybe, again, maybe you can't, that's why I'm loading it, right? And then here, this is gonna be off. Yeah, I had a feeling, right? So like I'm off by a couple millimeters every time. But that is a pretty good margin of error. This is also off by a millimeter, but that's not a bad margin of error because that means I'm getting better. I was like extremely off before, right? This also off by like a couple millimeters, right? But yeah, I was extremely off before, but now it seems I'm not too bad. That is actually probably wrong because you can see the line's a little bit curved, right? And I did that subconsciously, most likely, in order to ensure that it meets it, right? But either way, and again, like while I'm doing this, I forget to remind myself. I'll be honest, I'm forgetting to remind myself to see every single diagonal cross section and zooming out and trying to see it. So like I'm obviously, and that's difficult because I'm trying to apply, right? I'm trying to apply what I can, right? And still zoom out and to see this and this, which is incredibly difficult, right? But either way, let's see again here, visualizing. See, that's also off, and I curved it to cheat subconsciously or consciously. But anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain and then we're gonna keep going, try another different box type and then draw that multiple times, right? 5 times. It seems I'm doing like 15 to 20 boxes per page. So yeah, I think like 15 pages is good. This is the second page. So yeah, 15 pages should be good. It'll last me a few months, I think. But anyways, yeah, let's rest our brains. All right, cool. Let me just drink some more water. But yeah, another thing I want to say, again, I always try to say shit to remind myself mainly, but to encourage you as well. You know, for those of you who are here, probably not, right? Oh wait, wrong pen. Yeah, for those of you who are here. But learning is literally just it's trying to be capable while being happy that you're incapable, right? If you want me to like strip all the neuroscience away and just be like, okay, but what do I do? How do I feel? You simply try to be capable with everything that, with the things you as aware as you can be are, as you try to be capable to perform, to do, to put effort towards the thing that you're trying, the few things that you're aware to focus on in terms of to be capable of, right? That was a really retarded way to say it. You try to be capable on the things that you're aware that you can focus on, right? So in my context, I'm trying to be capable on zooming out, visualizing the box, seeing through the box, seeing the diagonal cross section, and then applying it quickly while holding that to the best of my ability and not looking at my line while zooming out. It's like 20 things right there. If you break it down to like every single fucking micro skill, meta skill, right? Like skill within a skill. If you break that down to like from the chunk terms that I use to like fucking the 12 to 24 to 30 fucking behaviors that involves like cognitively and physically, right? That is what I'm trying to be capable of, right? And then the trying to feel, and then the being incapable and feeling happy while doing so is purely just focusing on the effort, right? And enjoying it. And enjoying the mistakes, right? The feeling of being shit, right? Which requires you to throw away your ego. Because I'm telling you, I always feel like I'm incapable. Like there's not a moment that I don't feel incapable. Like right now, I feel extremely incapable that I can't draw a clean line while visualizing the box while zooming out. Like I am incapable of doing so, right? Like right now, I literally cannot see through this box and visualize the diagonal cross sections, but I'm trying to the best of my ability, but I literally cannot. And while I'm feeling incapable and my reflex, even with hundreds of hours that I put into learning how to learn and feeling good about it, my cognitive reflex is to feel frustration. And yet I force myself to feel good, right? To feel dopamine, because that is the only way I can respond appropriately to the situation that is to my benefit, right? But I always feel incapable. I genuinely always feel incapable. And you must throw your ego in the fucking garbage. Like, that is the number one thing. Like, if there's one thing I can tell you, right? There's multiple one things anybody can tell you. This is what happens when you have fucking, this is what happens when you get better and better at things. Is like, it all becomes like, through osmosis, it all becomes one fused understanding with hundreds of nuances, right? So everything feels important, but what I can tell you is definitely important is, and that's why I try to like break down what I'm doing and tell you exactly what I'm thinking, and like to tell you like, here's like exactly how I'm feeling and everything, right? So A, I never forget. B, I'm an observer to my own learning, metacognition, learning about learning, thinking about thinking, right? Which then improves my learning. And C, to also explicitly understand exactly like how my learning occurs, right? But to also remind myself the important, and again, like I'm trying to think about the overall box and the diagonal cross section, right? That line was a huge fuck up, and this line will probably be a fuck up as well, right? And if I want to make this look like it's halfway decent, I must bring it back here and then make extreme convergence, right? And this extreme convergence, I looked for a second, but I'm trying to zoom out and I'm trying to see the diagonal cross sections as well while I'm doing this. And that line was horrendous, right? That line was absolutely horrendous. But like, if there's one thing I can definitely tell you, is that your ego is your detriment. Again, I want to be very clear. You're allowed to be proud of the effort you have put in. But I don't think, and this is a personal opinion, right? But I don't think that you should attribute any pride towards what you think you should be. Because if you think you should be something, sorry, the reality is you aren't that, right? Therefore, you can only be proud of what you have tried to do and have tried to overcome, not proud of what you believe you should be, right? And this is like, maybe this doesn't apply to anybody, right? I'm just thinking out loud here. But I'd like too many beginners, especially like, because I go on Instagram and I have an art Instagram, which I just follow a lot of good artists, right? My Viggy Vodka channel, like Instagram, right? You can click on the link in the description. Don't follow me. I'm fucking worthless, right? Follow the people I follow. Look at the artists that I follow, and you'll probably see a bunch of really fucking good artists, like, because a lot of them are like draftsmen or just people I fucking love in terms of their art style and all that shit, and just like, and by style, I mean the decisions they make based on the fundamentals that they have, which are very, very, very strong. Not some fucking like, here, I drew a 2D anime character. This is just my style because I don't want to learn. If you feel called out by that, fuck you. Fucking feel called out by that. Fucking goddamn it, you're capable of way more than just drawing some bullshit and hiding behind the word style, right? But either way, let me try to draw again, right? But what the fuck was I saying? Yeah, throw your ego in the fucking garbage. Your ego is literally like useless, and I'm telling you, like, it is absolutely, without a doubt, the most useless thing you can have in a learning endeavor is your ego, because all it will do is make you think that you should, right? Like that you, and what do I mean by that? Like, it'll make you think that you should be more than you are, right? It'll make, in the sense that like, I should be able to learn this simple thing because it's so simple, right? I should be able to visualize this entire box scene through, right, while applying, because why shouldn't I be able to? It sounds so simple. Reality, newsflash, life, i.e. your brain, i.e. your reality of neuroplasticity and learning, doesn't give a fuck about what should or shouldn't be. It only cares about what is. So what is that I'm trying really hard, and that's all I can do. And I'm feeling good about the fact that I'm trying really hard, right? That's it. That's all we can do, right? And I'm making so many mistakes right now. Like, I am, and again, like, I'm talking about something completely fucking unrelated while I'm trying to visualize and zoom out and to see all this bullshit, right? Like, I'm trying so hard to see the diagonal cross sections while I apply these lines and zoom out, right? But it is so incredibly, and see my line suffered right there, but it is so incredibly hard to do so, right? And I can barely see through the box, right? But I'm trying a fuck ton. See, that line is suffering drastically. And what can I do? I can just force myself to feel good, because that is something my brain can learn and fix in the background. Why am I talking like this? I don't know, right? Wait, throw your ego in the fucking garbage. Like, your ego means nothing, And I apologize for all the sniffling, but for some reason the fucking mucus overload from my sickness isn't going away. Everything else is fine, but just the fucking the nose jism isn't exiting, right? So let's just try another perspective. right? And maybe we'll make this one a little bit more curvilinear. And again, I'm zoomed out. I'm not looking at my line. And every time I do this, I'm just forcing myself to feel good, right? I'm just forcing myself, and I am absolutely trying to the best of my ability to see the diagonal cross section. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm literally trying so hard to see through the box. Like, I actually am. And it's hilarious how hard I'm trying, because I know how hard I'm trying, which is like my brain is so taxed from trying this. And by the way, I'm not cheating right now, but technically, like, for what I want to do, you could say it's cheating, which is I did look here because I couldn't connect it properly, right? But I'm trying to, while applying this line, which is already so difficult, trying to apply a line that you can't even see. I'm trying so hard to visualize the diagonal cross sections, and my brain just is completely incapable of doing it. This is just a different type of difficult, right? And that was beautiful. That was really good. That was really, really good. And I'm getting better at proportion. This is wrong, but these are pretty decent. Like, these proportionally. This one's a little bit off too. But proportionally, I am getting better, which is good. That's actually great. Like, that means that yeah, that just means I'm getting better. Like, I'm getting better at focusing, reminding myself, retaining, like, rotating objects in my mind, right? Enhancing them, scaling them up or down, in this case up, because that's more difficult, right? And retaining the proportions. So it's not bad. But anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do the same. And then obviously I'm going to be drawing through these boxes as well. For this session, this last bit, like, I literally could not barely see through the form. So what does that mean? My brain struggles when the box is thinner and there's less surface area to visualize. I struggle with these thin diagonal cross sections, like this thin diagonal cross section, right? Now I can see it. Obviously now I can see it. Obviously, without a fucking doubt, now I can see it. A, because I put hundreds of hours into calculating this in my mind constantly, right? Like, extreme active effort. But now the extreme active effort is to do it while drawing faster and visualizing and holding it all in my mind. So a completely, like, different tier of active effort, utilizing the same principle and the same visualization in and of itself, right? But with more layers attached to it to make it more difficult, right? But yeah, like, I love this. My line quality is so ass, and it's beautiful. It's genuinely such a good thing. But anyways, please rest your brain. I just had an idea for next time I do challenge 52. I think I'm going to, like, of course, keep the boxes large, but I think I'm going to start creating little scene buildings, right? Like, scene, or some scene building, in order to, like, instead of, like, just boxes randomly, maybe the boxes create a platform, and then boxes on the side can start looking like storefronts. Not that they'll be detailed, but just in terms of purely their shapes and their proportions, right? I think, 100%, obviously, I think, like, objectively, that's just a great way to really build my sense of scale, because this is great to build my spatial reasoning. And again, you might be wondering, right? And whether you are or not, I'll explain it, because I like explaining things, and it just helps me understand the merit of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and how I'm doing it, right? But you might be wondering, like, okay, so you're doing all this spatial reasoning shit. Great, like, this is how you're making boxes difficult, right? But what is the point? Like, what is the point to making boxes difficult to this degree? Well, my dear friend, right? You fucking faggot. There you go. Now that I got your attention, first you gotta hook them with the kindness before you hit them with the utter disregard for pronouns, I guess, in this day and age, right? But my pronouns are fag and gut, let it be known, right? Right? But not ingot, just gut. But either way, shit jokes aside, right? The point of this is that spatial reasoning is spatial reasoning, right? And that was off. Being better at spatial reasoning means that you will be better at spatial reasoning, right? And that might sound like, okay, like, good job, you just gave me some pithy statement and then you fucked off. No, but, like, being better at geometric spatial reasoning, being able to see through forms, being able to understand volumes, being able to calculate the center points of those volumes will 100% translate over to being able to draw any other form, right? Like whether it is an organic or see, like this is me cheating right now. I curved it. That's incorrect. Whether it is an see, that's off too. Right, so I do struggle. I struggle with these thinner ones a lot, right? But whether it is an organic form or whether it is a geometric form, right? Like being better at spatial reasoning will make you better at spatial reasoning. So the more complexity you can do within your simple spatial reasoning, the more complexity you'll be able to apply to your more complex spatial reasoning. Like that's how simplicity is key, right? That's literally why simplicity is key. Also, I completely skipped the visible planes. Oh, see, that's beautiful. I struggle with these thinner planes so much. So this is good because this isn't even something that like is a reflection of me trying to visualize. I just struggle with making the center lines for thinner planes, right? And that is something I can just consistently work on, right? That was okay. And same with like more extreme angles. That was off by a couple millimeters. Oh, I ghosted that, so that technically is a mistake, right? But hopefully that answers the question that I put upon myself to you. but yeah, like there is a point to all of this, which is, I mean, literally just look at any great artist. They all just practice their fundamentals. Look at any great craftsman, anybody in anything, right? Like why does anybody who get good at anything keep saying focus on your basics, right? Because either it's like a massive gaslight, but by anybody who's ever been skilled in anything, or if you just take a little bit of a step back, or if you take a little bit of a step back. And by the way, like I'm struggling to visualize the diagonal cross sections while I'm talking. Like I do one at a time, but I need to be obviously visualizing them all while I do this. So that's another skill that I can constantly focus on. And this is why I always feel like I'm not trying hard enough, by the way. Like this is a big reason as to why I always feel like I'm not trying hard enough, because there's so much to think about. I feel like I'm not thinking about those things at all, right? So the answer is, am I shit? Likely, right? I mean, that's the only answer, is like, you're probably just shit, right? It's probably just, as always, just a skill issue, and you just need to get good. Just get good. But yeah, either it's a massive gaslight by the skilled people industry, if there ever was one, right? Either it's a massive gaslight by the skilled, and by the way, while I'm talking, I'm trying to think of every single plate now, right? I have to keep reminding myself to think about it while I do these, right? But like either it's a massive gaslight by this, and that's completely off, and it was off here too. Either it's a massive gaslight by the skilled people industry, or lo and behold, something called the fundamentals is important. Let me say that again. It's highly possible that something called the fucking fundamentals are important, right? And I think this is where beginner artists trip up, because they don't actually want to learn, right? If you're a beginner artist and then hearing the words, you must practice the fundamentals, or the fundamentals are the most important thing, like if just hearing that makes you be like, what that means is you have an expectation versus reality problem. Your expectation is that you should be able to get good and draw what you want, quote unquote, without having to practice things that you don't want to practice, quote unquote. Well, the reality is, if you actually did give a shit about learning and learning art and learning how to draw specifically, you would actively make an effort in as much as you could, right? Just like I did, just like anybody else who was trying to learn, right? Oh, that was so off. That was beautiful. But you would be actively making an effort. Oh, I really forgot to the other side, to try and understand how to enjoy the fundamentals, right? You would actively be making an effort how you can ensure that not only you can make learning the fundamentals what you want to draw, you can actively make an effort to make learning the fundamentals also what you want to draw, right? Like you can actively make that effort. Like if you actually liked learning, you would, or wanted to learn how to draw, right? You would pull all the bullshit romanticism you have, right? And I guess I'm speaking to a very specific demographic, which is fucking pussy-ass beginners, right? Emphasis on like the pussy-ass beginner part. Because again, I'm also talking to myself. This is me talking to myself from 5 years ago, where I quit art 2 years in a row. Quit trying to learn art 2 years ago. And each time I didn't try longer than 3 weeks, right? First time was 1 week, second time was I think 3.5 weeks, right? But so like when I'm bitching, let it be known that not only am I bitching about you, I'm bitching about me as well, right? But you would be actively making an effort to try to actually enjoy the thing that you so supposedly want to do, right? Because otherwise, if you're not, what this is just a sheer form of disrespect. Like what you're doing is you're simply just disrespecting the craft. It's just disrespect. Like there's no other way to say it, right? If you went to a martial arts gym and the coach said, punch like this, and you said no, I don't want to punch like that. I want to punch my way. He or she would be like, get the fuck out of my dojo and never come in here again, right? If beginner artists complained, if that attitude was pulled up anywhere else, they'd be told to fuck off immediately, right? But thankfully or unthankfully, right, art can be taught alone or learned alone, right? Like you can learn this skill, for better or for worse. Honestly, for better, obviously, right? But you can learn it. That's completely off. You can learn it alone. And what does that mean? You can also bitch alone, right? You can go through strife alone, and you can... Oh, that's completely off too. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. And you can learn how to not learn alone, right? So there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into, I guess, trying to ensure that people actually know how to enjoy learning. And that's why I'm here with all my abrasive speech and my completely unnecessary shit talk. I am here to, of course, tell you that you are capable and you can learn. I mean, all my shit talk aside, I really just want to say that you're capable, right? All my wonderful, very highly unconvincing. I understand, highly unconvincing after the entire fucking rant I went on. This man just spent like fucking 10 minutes shitting on me. Or if you are the target demographic, then I hope you felt shat on, right? Just a nice steaming pile of poo poo. But what's it called? Like apart from the fucking time I just spent ranting, right? And this is obviously, like, this is still grinding my brain, by the way. I'm gonna be very clear, like, this is still fucking hurting my brain, god damn it. But all the time that I've been spending ranting, I still want to say that I think you're capable, right? Like, I still want to, of course, say that it's a mindset issue. And it's just a reality issue. Again, like, just expectations versus reality. Expectation. I should be able to understand this easily. This shouldn't be as hard. Do I really need to learn this? Expectations. Reality. It is what you need to learn. It is very difficult. You are not above this skill. Simple. Very, very simple. Very, very humbling, right? Others would see that as humiliating, but it's not humiliating. It's humbling, right? It puts you in a place, and people will say like it puts you in your place, right? Like you could interpret it that way, but no, it just puts you in a place of understanding. It's like, oh, I was mistaken. I thought that I knew this, but turns out I did not know anything, right? And guess what? The greatest artist, the greatest craftsman, the greatest skilled anything of all time, what is like a stereotype, right? At the end of their days, when they die, what is something they all say? I know nothing, right? So the goal is to actually try your hardest to know, and then to die knowing nothing, right? Because turns out you didn't know anything. You knew after 70 years of practice, you knew about... Oh, that was completely off. Beautiful, right? I know nothing. But anyways, you knew after 70 years of practice that you knew about like 35 ways to draw forms, right? 35 to 40 ways to draw forms, 20 ways to render, right? 40 ways to compose and like create a composition, and about like 15 ways to bring expression to your pieces, right? Very realistic. Took about 60, 70 years, right? Takes 60, 70 of years to understand that, right? And that is good because you knew nothing, because there were actually 500,000 ways for each, right? But unfortunately, you did not live long enough to understand that, which is good, right? That's a good thing, because what does that mean? You spent your life in pursuit of knowledge, application, and meaning through knowledge and application. And I think that is deeply poetic, so poetic. Biggie, hashtag Biggie philosophizes, philosophizes. But that was a great session. That really fucking grinded my brain. And I'm gonna rest my brain now, right, for at least 15 minutes after this. I encourage you to do so as well, right? But I hope, at least at the very least, what you can take away from what I'm saying is have clear expectations, put your ego aside, try your best, enjoy the mistakes that comes with trying, right? That's really all I want to say, right? Obviously, sometimes I'll say it in a neuroscience-oriented way, which for me, I believe is extremely important to keep reiterating that, so people understand that this isn't some fucking... Again, art, skill learning is not... And like, the emotion comes with obviously the learning, like the expression of the learning, but the emotion should not... The negative and frustration, the emotion should not be attributed to the learning itself in terms of like the attempt of learning, because to attempt is beautiful. I think some people disagree. Some people, like, there's like this whole hustle. Some parts of like hustle culture, I guess you could say, are super focused on just like, it's all about the grind. It's all about the grind. It's like, I try to say it as like, it's just about the effort, the directionally correct effort that you put in towards trying and enjoying the mistakes that come with it, right? And this feeds nicely into the neuroscience, which is effort, errors, dopamine, right? And then rest your brain and repeat for fucking like 50 years. Congratulations. Oh, you're a master, you know, you tried really hard, you're a master, I'm so proud of you, right? But you're all capable. Every single one of you is capable, right? You're also culpable of not subscribing to this fucking channel. Like, subscribe, give me money, keep me on the background, give me retention, mute my ass, right? That was a great fucking segue if I say so myself. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you tried a lot, right? And as always, fuck you for watching. Keep dying. Please, give me money, money, money.